So hearing those words, chronic kidney disease, that can feel really overwhelming, right? But what if there was a roadmap, a clear guide to help you figure it all out? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to break down the world's leading medical guideline on this and turn it into a simple, understandable plan for what's happening and what comes next. Okay, picture this. You've just left the doctor's office with this new diagnosis. Your head is probably spinning with a million questions. This explainer is all about answering that one big central question. Okay, so what happens now? We're going to walk through it step by step together. All right, first things first. Let's get a handle on what chronic kidney disease actually is. The definition is probably a lot simpler than you think. So the top experts in the world, a group called KDIGO, have defined it. And the most important part of this whole sentence is the time frame, more than 3 months. That's the key right there. That's what makes it chronic. It's not something that just happened yesterday. It's a condition that's been present for a while. So how do doctors know for sure? Well, they're looking for one of two key things, and it has to stick around for that 3-month window. It's either markers of actual kidney damage, a classic example is protein leaking into your urine, or it's that your kidney's filtering power has dropped. That's measured by something called the glomerular filtration rate, which is a mouthful, I know, so we just call it GFR. If either one of those things is true for 3 months, that's the diagnosis. Okay, so we know what it is, but how do we measure it? There are two numbers that are about to become a really big part of your life, your GFR and your albuminuria. Seriously, think of these two as the main dials on your kidney health dashboard. And they each tell a different part of the story, which is pretty cool. GFR tells you about function. You can think of it as the horsepower of your kidney engine. How much power does it have to clean your blood? Albuminuria, on the other hand, tells you about damage. It checks for a specific protein called albumin that's leaking out. A healthy kidney has a super tight filter. It shouldn't be leaky. Now, this is the main tool your doctor uses, and it comes straight from that global guideline. I know it might look a little intense at first, but stick with me. It's actually brilliant. Your doctor just takes your GFR number and finds your row, and they take your albuminuria number and find your column, and bam, where those two meet, that's your spot. That's your risk category. And here is the best part. You don't even need to memorize all the numbers. Just look at the color. It's like a traffic light for your kidney health. Green is good, low risk of things getting worse. Then as the risk goes up, the color shifts to yellow, then orange, and then red. It gives you this instant visual gut check of exactly where you are. Okay, so you know your color, you know your risk, but the most important question is what can you actually do about it? This is where we pivot from just understanding the diagnosis to taking action. The guideline gives us a really clear plan. The whole management plan really rests on 3 foundational pillars. These are the big areas where you and your doctor can team up to protect not just your kidneys, but your whole body. And pillar number 1 is all about lifestyle. Now, this is stuff we've probably all heard before, but when it comes to kidney health, believe me, it is a game changer. Getting regular physical activity, working towards a healthy weight, and quitting smoking, these are the fundamental things you can start working on today. Pillar 2, blood pressure. And this one is absolutely critical. Think about it. High blood pressure is like a constant battering ram against those tiny, delicate filters in your kidneys. So your doctor will almost certainly talk to you about medications. And 2 types called ACE inhibitors and ARBs are rock stars here because they don't just lower blood pressure, they do something extra cool. They actually help relax the tiny blood vessels inside the kidneys, giving them an extra layer of protection. And pillar 3 is all about safety and you becoming your own best advocate. This is so important. Your kidneys are the body's main clearinghouse for a ton of medications. So your GFR number directly impacts what a safe dose is. You need to be the one to remind every doctor, every pharmacist, hey, remember my kidneys? What's my GFR today? So why is all of this management so important? You might think it's all about preventing kidney failure, right? Well, that's part of it. But there's actually an even bigger reason, and it has to do with your heart. This quote from the guideline is just, wow. Let that sink in for a second. For most people with CKD, the more immediate danger isn't their kidneys failing. It's having a heart attack or a stroke. Taking care of your kidneys is fundamentally one of the best things you can do to take care of your heart. The two are just that connected. All right, so CKD isn't a one-and-done diagnosis. It's a journey. So how do doctors keep an eye on things over the long haul? You guessed it. It all comes back to those 2 magic numbers, your GFR and your albuminuria. Checking them regularly is a totally standard, essential part of your care. It's all about looking for the trend. Is your kidney function holding steady, or is it changing over time? That's the information that guides every decision moving forward. And that awesome color-coded chart we looked at? Well, it does double duty. See, you can use that same grid to get a rough idea of how often you should be getting checked. If you're in a low-risk green or yellow spot, it might be just once or twice a year. But as you move into the higher risk, orange and red zones, those check-ins become more frequent, 3, 4, or even more times a year. But of course, this is just a general map, right? Your doctor is your personal guide. They're going to create a monitoring plan that is tailored specifically for you, based on your entire health picture. That's why talking with them is so important. So there you have it. The journey really does start with understanding your numbers and knowing your color, your risk. But the real power comes from what you do with that information. A diagnosis isn't an endpoint. It's a starting line for a new partnership with your healthcare team. The path forward is one you walk together. So the real question is, how will you take that first step?